Bradie, I got a question for you right out the gate here.
What is the question, sir?
When was the last time you were in Las Vegas?
I've never been to Las Vegas, and the reason why is because everybody in my life that knows me has been warning me since I turned legal age to gamble. No, not to go anywhere near that place because I will never come back, or I will die there.
Well, okay. All right. I
So
mean,
I've never been to Vegas, and I don't think I'm ever going to go.
that's a valid reason. That's a very valid reason. Being from Vegas, I can tell you that it is not all milk and honey. It's not all, guns and roses.
Well,
I
you
mean,
being
it's
from
not.
Vegas, and you know me very well,
Yeah.
a guy like me would last about 14 seconds in Las Vegas, right? Am I
No,
wrong?
no, I think you could do well. I think you could do well for a little bit. You know what I mean? I think you could make a weekend out of it, and I think that we should film it.
I think the landscapers are making a weekend out front of my fucking window right now. I apologize, listeners. I
You guys
apologize.
digging a new pool out there or something?
Okay, but why do you ask about Vegas? Does this have
Well,
something to do with the Apex?
listen, this is the first time that NXT has done the Apex in Las Vegas. This is the first time that there's been a wrestling company play the Apex. You know what I mean? It's always been UFC shows at the Apex. And if you watched Battleground, you noticed you were like, wait, this is the Apex? It looks considerably different, right? If
Well,
you've
I
ever watched
noticed
any of the fight nights and then you watch the Battlegrounds show, way different.
our local town hero was walking by the UFC jerseys at the beginning of the pay-per-view. They showed him walking by all of the Ultimate Fighter jerseys throughout the years. It was actually kind of surreal to see that. It was really cool. I really, really actually liked the setup inside the Apex.
Right. Yeah,
I
no,
think it
it
was
was
awesome.
very good. It was very good. And what they did is they actually put bleachers in there so that it looked a lot higher. They could fit more people in there too, right? Because they're, obvious, do the math, people. Listen, I think that thing is going to be a success for them. I think it's going to be something that you see probably back there more often because they have control of being able to get to it at any given time now because it's all owned by the same people, right? So they can have it set up in obviously a very short amount of time. And being able to utilize a space like that you already own inside of a city like Vegas, I mean, it only makes sense. And then you could probably take that same formula with those bleachers and do that for your fight nights and your UFC fights at the Apex.
How long do you think it's going to be? How many years before we get a WWE event inside the Sphere?
Oh, well, listen, UFC is already planning one.
Exactly.
So I think that it's only a matter of time. Now, would it be, boy, could you imagine they do a pay-per-view or a PLE or whatever it is in Vegas. So they do like, Allegiant Stadium there, right?
Yep.
Let's say they do that for the pay-per-views. Maybe, a Mania or something like that. But then they've got like a Raw and SmackDown at the Sphere. I think that'd be wild. 18. I don't know if I could trust a wrestling show inside of a place like that because somebody sitting way up high is going to throw a beach ball, at least a beach ball.
Well, there was no beach balls thrown inside of the Apex. It seemed like it was pretty controlled. Mind you, there wasn't a lot of room around the ring, and opening up with a match that needs a lot of room around the ring, we had an NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match. And that involved a whole bunch of people. One of them, who's actually the winner, spoiler alert, I've never even seen work before until this night. And I thought she was just a filler. And once the match was going on, I was like, holy crap, Kalani Jordan is a hell of a talent.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, she's just one of many of the female wrestlers that NXT is turning out. It's crazy right now.
So Ruka, best finisher in the game right now. We had Lash Legend in there taking bumps like a beast.
Dude, the fact that she did that off of the ladder, I was like, okay, I'm done. It's a wrap.
That's actually what I said. I'm like, follow that, everybody.
It's a wrap.
Follow that tonight because that's the coolest sequence. Will Ospreay's like, motherfucker, I'm stealing that thing.
But
It's
it's already on TV. It's
it's
already on.
perfect.
Going to do say you stole it. This is
Yeah,
why
I'll call it the.
men don't do eat defeat.
There's a few that I've done it. I think Leo Rush used to do it. Don't hate me, Leo, but I think he did it at one point. But yes, we had Sol Ruka, Lash Legend, Fallon Henry, who's coming into her own as well. Fallon Henry doing the country girl gimmick. Jada Parker and Mission, who used to be Mia Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Mia. So great match, Lash Legend. I hope your booty's okay after that huge booty bump on the ladder to the outside. What a great spot. We'll talk about another Gorilla Press spot later on in the event, but holy crap, what a good spot. All those girls did as best as they could to keep her safe. So, and it looked like it was a clean bump, but definitely clean, and Charlie Horse is kind of in the same family there. So we have a new North American champion there, and NXT Tag Team Championships. We had Nathan Frazier and Axiom versus the Good Brothers, who I know you love. The OC, the Good Brothers.
I mean, how
Those are
can
your
you not?
boys.
How can you not? I mean, they are the epitome of what is professional wrestling. They're a couple of, you got a great worker and his big ass heater who also knows how to work.
Who's
They've been around.
hilarious as hell.
They've been around long enough. You know what I mean? They know how to fucking work the crowd. They've seen it all over the world. They're just out there having fun right now and passing on and doing exactly what they should be doing. And that's passing on that knowledge and getting some of those younger talents ready to rock and roll.
And that's why they're a perfect
mission.
fit. They're a perfect fit in NXT to work with the young talent and teach them. Like, not Trick Williams, he may have the ability to go over to Japan and spend his time over there, but it's a little bit, there's a chance that he's not going to. So he's here now. He's a star. What can you do if you can't get him that experience? We'll bring guys over and surround him with guys that are.
Well, we've already established the fact that WWE is building talent from scratch. And we're talking about people that don't have a lick of knowledge about the world of professional wrestling. They've never gone out and worked on the indies. They've never spent their time toiling and driving up the highways and being that warrior, right? They've never done any of that. They were recruited. They were built like $6 million man, right? In the WWE. So, I mean, it's only a matter of time before you have somebody who, if they don't know anything else, how are they going to get that experience? If you can't send them to there, right, without losing them from your company, well, you have to bring it to them. So they're going to have all of the experience from all of these other people, right, to get them ready to do those things just for the WWE.
So Nathan Frazier and Axiom defend their championships in a pretty good story. It's exactly what you would expect it to be. Now, next up, we had the NXT Underground fight. Now, this is Lola Vice versus Shayna Baszler. Now, I technically think it's a triple threat match because Adrian Butler was in there doing just as much work as the ladies. So, there's not too much I can say. I don't like a lot of these worked MMA matches. I think Josh Barnett does it perfectly there with the Bloodsport thing, and I don't think it translates to a bigger stage.
I don't listen. Here's the thing that I don't understand.
I hate it.
Yeah, I get it. It's a gimmick, right? And I mean, what's the alternative?
Well, it fit. It fit for being in the Apex. Now, mind you, the staff at the Apex was probably watching it, being like, "What's going on here?"
I think you've really. It's a tough line. It's a tough line to try to walk along when you're in that building. In front, you know what I mean? It's almost. I mean, do you take it as a disrespectful thing? Right?
No.
If you're some of those legends, I mean, but here's the only reason why you don't, in my opinion. But if you're some of those legends and you were to see that there's this pro wrestling company, I don't care what the freaking company is, but they're in your house putting on hey, this is how we interpret, because that's what pro wrestling is. It's your interpretation of a fight. This is how we interpret MMA fighting and pit fighting. The only reason that there was any kind of clout to go along with this is because it was Shayna Baszler.
Me and you are we shouldn't even be doing a show together because it's just the same opinion 90% of the time. But yeah, no, it's exactly what I was gonna say. I think Shayna is the reason why you can get away with it. So next up, we had this is my favorite match of the night.
Okay.
The NXT North American Championship, Obafemi, the freak of nature, who I think they just need to get rid of the NXT belt off of him, just get him up to the main roster and let him pounce and run through everyone. He defeated, coming off of a very severe back injury, back surgery. This was his first big match back, which was Wesley and Joe Coffey, who I'm now a huge fan of Joe Coffey. I think the world of these three guys. Craziest spot I've ever seen. I'm telling you, when it comes to not just crazy jumping off a roof through glass and barbed wire and all that shit, when it comes to actual safe spot, craziest thing I've ever seen. Femi gorilla presses Wes Lee over his head, standing on the top, and Wes goes through the air to the point where he goes off of the hard cam and does a perfect cross body with Joe Coffey sitting there waiting and catching him safely. I watched it back. I shit you not. I was 10 minutes behind by the time I was done watching it. I had watched it so many times, slowed it down. Oh, what were your thoughts on Obi? What's your thoughts on Obi Femi? Now that
Uh,
we've seen him in a couple big matches here.
he's getting much stronger, which is what they need from a guy that size. Here's the thing: it's always been, and you talk about him going up to the next level, up to the main shows. Here's the problem: is that we've seen guys that size before on the main card, and there's only so much you can do with them, right? The fact that he's as strong as he is certainly going to help matters. I think he's a really good young talent. I think that more importantly than when you saw it on the show, because I can guarantee you a spot like that was most certainly practiced at least once before. So the first time that Wes was up there was probably scary as shit.
Well, here's the thing. The second they give him a heel manager, and Femi has one of the scariest looking stares. Like when he's coming, and
100%.
he's playing a face, and he's coming out, and all I can see is those piercing eyes, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the scariest human being on the roster right now.
Yeah, I don't listen. I don't know how you make him a baby face on the main roster, though. That's, you know what I mean? I think that because size alone, he has to come out and just start running roughshod through. Otherwise, what are you going to do? You're going to have him save one of the girls as that kind, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah, the Otis
you have to
thing.
be able
Yeah,
to utilize his size at the same time. And for him to come through and just start manhandling everybody. But yeah, I agree. Have him have a manager, have him have some kind of a voice so that there's a meaning to it. The manager is looking for something. So you know what I mean? I got an idea. We'll talk about this a little bit later on. Let's finish talking about this one.
all right. So then we had the big invasion angle, or I guess the big merging angle, or the big let's work together and hold hands while the other companies struggle angle. Roxanne Perez defended her championship against the TNA Knockouts champion, Jordan Grace. What are your thoughts on TNA and NXT working together?
I think that it's really good for the individuals. I still have yet to see anything really that is going to benefit the company from this as a whole, and either side. To be honest with you, I think it's fantastic for the individuals that are being picked for it. But are you going to run some old school ECW, WCW invasion angle with the entire company?
I think it's
That's
doing what it was supposed to do, which is
yeah.
create a buzz on social media and create a buzz between the companies. They had so much buzz in heading into WrestleMania and leading out of WrestleMania. Some of that social media presence has to have somewhat died out now with The Rock gone and not being able to, tweet out Punk's promos and all this stuff. So I think this is a counteraction to that. I think this is a counteraction, a little fuck you to AEW, which we'll talk about that at the end of the segment. I guess they're really doing that now. But yeah, no, I really like the match. It seemed like the consensus afterwards is that it was a great match. Everybody loved it. Roxanne Perez is a freak of nature to do the stuff that she can do with how small and how tiny she is. It's not knocking her. It's just she's a freak of nature. Like, she is a really talented and strong individual. Jordan Grace, it seems like everybody wanted her to win just so it could add something to talk about. They wanted her to leave with the belt. The reason why she didn't leave with the belt, proceed, sir, because I know you loved this angle.
Oh, no. No. It's like we had said before. And I had talked to somebody. I had talked to somebody that we know, and we were shooting the breeze about it, and he had thrown out the idea because I said, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I thought that something better made sense. I thought that here's the thing. I thought that when they decided to go with the way that they did, it was a missed opportunity. It was still
Why?
the same angle, but a missed opportunity. I think that having people like Dana Brooke, sorry, Ash by George, or Ash by Elegance, I should say.
Ash by Iceman.
Ash by Iceman. Ash
There we go.
baby. Dun 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 dun. And Tatum Paxley, I think having them involved was kind of weird and strange. I get why you wanted to have Ash or Dana Brooke involved. She's a face that some people in WWE may remember.
Mm-hmm.
This new gimmick, not at all. Nobody in WWE, they're like, who the fuck is this? And then somebody whispered to the next person, the commentators, I overheard them say that's used to be so and so or whatever. And that's really how people knew who she was there. It was kind of a missed opportunity. Tatum Paxley just making her return or whatever, that made a little bit more sense. And with the hugging and the trying to kidnap the title, it wasn't about the people, it was about, give me your belt, the Conor McGregor cartoon, right? I think that it should have been somebody else in that position. I think that it should have been somebody who you could have gotten more story out of. Now, whether or not the person would have agreed to it is a different story. But I think that Jordan Grace is very close to breaking the record for the longest reigning Knockouts champion. A record that, if I remember correctly, is currently held by Gail Kim. That is who I would have had, just for that one shot only. Gail Kim comes out there and costs the heat for Jordan to not win that title from Roxanne. Then you carry that over into the open challenge that she has coming up for the TNA PLE.
Why do you think that they used Ash? Do you think this is what they're going with? That they're setting up that storyline, so it's going to be Ash versus Jordan?
Well, that only makes sense that at some point, because I think Jordan has one of these open challenges at their next PLE, right? Somebody's got to get involved there that she's going to beat. Maybe Ash gets involved again. Eventually, the baby face has to pull the enough is enough. Now I'm going after you, and start going after Ash. Right?
Well, next up, we had the NXT Championship defended by Trick Williams, that Trick, against the local hometown boy.
Yeah, listen, localized wrestling stood out. There's no doubt about it.
It did. Now, localized to us, though.
Correct.
They were talking about a 17-year vet, and we've known this gentleman for 17 years, since pretty much the day he started.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Trick Williams went out there and proved why they put the belt on him in the first place. I think that this was an opportunity for the same reason that we talked about before, that there wasn't going to be any kind of WWE said, yeah, we're going to do this stuff, but you're not leaving with our belts. For the same reason they said in that main event, they said, yeah, we're going to do business with you and you're going to come in here and everybody's going to be surprised and stuff, but we're not quite yet going to be putting the belt on you right out the gate. You got to remember, this is a guy who also comes with a lot of heat in the business from a lot of people over the years for whatever reasons. That's not for me to fucking say. You know what I mean? That's their story, right? So he's trying to do everything that he can right now to make what's best in this situation. It's his shot. This is his Eminem moment. You got that one shot. Don't miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.